10 confusing anime that are totally worth watching until the end. Given anime's vast array of genres and stories, it's unsurprising that there are many series that people find relatively confusing. That said, several of these series are worth watching in their entirety, so their messages can be completely inferred. Attack on Titan has some of the most shocking plot twists in anime history. Yet, the anime has to be viewed as a whole for the twists to be completely understood. In the same vein, anime like FLCL are meant to convey a single idea or metaphor. FLCL is a less than subtle coming-of-age tale. The entire series is meant to represent a very relatable time in viewers' lives. Several confusing anime need to be viewed in their entirety to be completely understood. Yet, this is part of the series' appeal as they have each had a larger impact on the genre or society. 10. Attack on Titan's plot twists are hinted at from the series' very beginning. Streaming on Crunchyroll. On its surface, Attack on Titan seems like a very dark but basic shonen. The protagonist is meant to take a final stand against what is an otherwise world-ending threat. The popular series continues on this train for a while before several plot twists cause the series to take a completely different direction. As it turns out, the Titan Scourge is entirely artificial, meaning that Eren Yeager has an entirely different target than he originally thought. With this information in mind, Eren sets a plot in motion that transcends the very fabric of time. He somehow ensures events from his past are guaranteed to happen to safeguard his passage down the right path. From there, he causes one of the largest genocides in anime through the rumbling. Each of Attack on Titan's many reveals might have seemed insignificant or confusing, but they all lead to the rumbling. 9. Paranoia Agent is a terrifying twist on very real-world problems. Paranoia Agent is one of the most interesting surreal horror series to exist. The anime deals with several very real anxieties, but handles them in a creatively nuanced way.
The series' creativity is not immediately apparent, as Shonen Bat initially seems like a very real antagonist. Yet, as the series begins to pick the villain and his victims apart, the genius of the series becomes clearer. The popular thriller initially appears to be nothing more than a mindless horror series. However, nearly all of its visuals have a double meaning, aside from their interesting visuals. This is relatively unsurprising given the creator, Satoshi Kon's other popular work, Perfect Blue. Nevertheless, while Paranoia Agent might not be for everyone, fans should wait until they watch to the end of the series before passing judgment. 8. Monster deals with the innate morality of humanity. Monster is one of the most compelling stories of morality ever depicted in anime. Although the act of saving someone's life is inherently good, there are consequences for every positive action as well. Dr. Kenzo Tenma might have done a good deed by saving Johan's life as a boy, but he goes on to commit many horrific murders. If Dr. Tenma had never operated on him in the first place, these murders theoretically could have been avoided. These prevalent possibilities are the entire moral premise of the show. Yet, it manages to pack in several surprising twists and turns throughout its runtime to further add to the already interesting concept. The plot can be confusing at times, but fans will be on the edge of their seats nonetheless, unsure of what will happen next. Monster is easily one of the greatest thriller anime of its generation. 7. FLCL is a not-so-subtle coming-of-age story. FLCL is a classic anime depicting Naoto Nandaba's coming of age. The comedy series is a relatable and trippy take on the different aspects of becoming an adolescent. There is so much nuance to this, not an adult, but not a child, period, the anime beautifully demonstrates. Naoto Nandaba's interactions with Haruko are a less than subtle metaphor for the process of growing up. Yet, to understand the metaphor as a whole, audiences must watch the entire series. Despite wanting so hard to be an adult, the series often reminds Naoto that he's only a kid. By the end of the series, he can take solace in that fact and understand the joys it can bring. In today's fast-paced day and age, many kids are concerned with growing up instead of actually enjoying their childhoods. 6. Psycho Pass theorizes about a terrifying future for humanity. Psycho Pass is an interesting take on what could happen to the world after society's collapse. Psycho Pass offers a futuristic look into what could happen to the world once technology gets out of hand. Many would argue that we're getting dangerously close to that point already. Nevertheless, the interesting concepts of morality in a world dictated by computers is a tale unlike any other. Although Akane Tsukamori begins the series sure of herself and her position, her disposition slowly falls apart. Yet, the way the series delves into her and other psyches is truly fascinating. It isn't a short series by any means, but it is well worth watching to the end. Fans of futuristic thrillers will slowly fall in love with this speculative sci-fi series. 5. Bacano features several intertwining tales that don't immediately make sense. Bacano is one of the most interesting tales of Prohibition-era America ever explored. It features several immortals as they visit and inhabit some of the most famous eras of the United States history. The series is purposefully told out of order and nonsensically. Yet, the pieces slowly begin to fall into place over its many episodes. The finale beautifully brings every character's story to a satisfying close.
Given the very nature of the series, Bacano is meant to be confusing. However, if the audience is turned off by this act too soon, they are missing out on one of the best historical anime of all time. The anime is not historically accurate, but those familiar with the periods will undoubtedly enjoy the series. Many anime have attempted to tackle this interesting period, but only Bacano truly captures its chaotic nature. 4. Serial Experiments Lane questions the very nature of reality during its run. Serial Experiments Lane takes what is real and what is mechanical to the next level. The series is a collection of ideas crammed into a surrealist thriller anime capable of making even the most profound philosopher scratch their head for a second. The popular sci-fi anime breaks new ground as to what can be considered horror. The series also sets out to place its theory on the true nature of reality. In a world surrounded by ever-growing technology, reality is stretched to its limits every day. This fact is even more true in the cybernetically advanced age of Serial Experiment Lane. The anime is purposefully confusing at points, which is a part of its surrealist appeal. Fans have long debated the ending of the anime since it was first released more than 2 decades ago. Yet it's entirely possible the anime was never meant to have a concrete ending in the first place. 3. The Future Diary is a story of romance and resurrection. The Future Diary is one of the more decisive death game series. Nevertheless, its many plot twists are engaging enough to keep fans on their toes. The world is much more complex than it originally seems, and there has already been a winner of the death game. The Future Diary is one of the first series to handle multiple timelines, an indicator of how ahead of its time the anime was. The relatively short series is capable of being binged within a weekend. Certain parts of the series are downright hard to follow. Murumuru's plotline is one of the worst offenders. Yet, the anime has an undeniable charm when viewed in its entirety. More than half the episodes are top-rated on IMDb, giving any hesitant fan a good reason to pursue the anime. 2. Neon Genesis Evangelion's confusing ending spawned a popular tie-in movie. Neon Genesis Evangelion begins like a typical sci-fi series. Aside from piloting an Evangelion, Shinji is the same as many regular children. He is tasked with the responsibility of saving the entire world and the ones he cares about. As his world falls apart, he begins a slow descent into madness, marked by one of the most confusing endings in anime history. However, with the addition of the movie, it easily becomes one of the most mind-blowing plots of all time. In many ways, Neon Genesis Evangelion has become worth watching just to get to the end due to its reputation. Yet, many modern fans find themselves falling in love with the franchise. They have poetically become the next generation of fans to be shocked by the anime's gruesome ending. 1. Steins Gate is a flawlessly intricate time travel series. Steins Gate is one of the most clever time travel series of all time. Instead of sending people to the past and future directly, the scientific team begins by sending messages. These messages are capable of changing the past and future, but only Rintaro Okabe is capable of remembering the altered timelines. What follows is one of the cleverest time travel tales in the concept's history. While Steins Gate might seem less imposing in comparison to other time travel tales, this is where the anime flourishes. The relatively simple concept allows the series to end without plot holes. Steins Gate is often purposefully confusing in an attempt to maintain its continuity. Yet, fans who have seen the entire thing have done nothing but sing its praise, for good reason. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thanks, anime lovers.